The Betwa River in Orcha flows past centuries-old stone cenotaphs, a setting defined by its stillness. But the tranquility of this riverbank was broken by the discovery of a brutally murdered body found among the boulders. Local police classified the case as a blind murder. It is a specific investigative category where there is no victim ID, no clear motive, and no immediate suspect. The assailant used extreme violence to crush the victim's face, pathological behavior that forensic pathologists call overkill. This facial mutilation is a deliberate attempt to erase the victim's identity from existence. Based on the desolate location, first responders initially assumed they were looking at the scene of a random robbery that turned fatal. While a physical crime scene can be constructed to deceive the human eye, modern investigators use microscopic forensics and digital mapping to dismantle these theatrical illusions. To verify the robbery theory, forensics teams performed blood pattern analysis on the soil immediately surrounding the body. The analysis revealed a critical anomaly. A severe facial injury should result in a large red pool of blood. However, the riverbank contained only tiny scattered dots. The victim bled out at a different location, his body dragged to this riverbank to be discovered. This conclusion is supported by Locard's exchange principle, the forensic law that every contact between two surfaces leaves a trace. On the victim's collar, investigators found a microscopic blue synthetic fiber. It was high-grade automotive upholstery, proving the victim's body was transported to the river in a modern SUV. The missing blood volume and the presence of automotive fibers identify the riverbank as a secondary location, a theatrical drop site. The hunt for the primary crime scene had to begin elsewhere. Investigators turned their attention away from the dirt and toward the invisible digital grid that covers the town of Orcha. They used call data records and cell tower triangulation to map the historical movements of the victim, his wife, and his closest friend. At 10:45 p.m. on the night of the murder, all three signal radiuses locked together in an overlapping diagram at the riverbank. Their alibis were invalidated by their own phones. To confirm who else was present, the team used AI-driven 3D crime scene reconstruction to analyze the scuff marks and footprints left in the dirt. The 3D grid revealed a fourth set of footprints. They were lightweight and distinct, belonging to a person who left no digital footprint that night. Unlike the chaotic, overlapping tracks of the struggle, this fourth set of prints stood perfectly still. This person watched the murder from behind a rock outcropping, never joining the fray. The digital pings and 3D mapping prove the murder was a coordinated execution watched by an unknown, stationary entity. Understanding the staging requires an analysis of the killer's mind. The victim's best friend was diagnosed with delusional disorder, a condition where the patient loses touch with reality. He developed a hero complex, convincing himself that by eliminating the husband, he was acting as a savior for the victim's wife. This shifts the context of the facial mutilation. The overkill was a psychological erasure, driven by an obsessive jealousy that needed to destroy the husband's very image. When paired with physical evidence, this psychological motive explains the staging. A random robbery was the intended lie. Obsessive passion was the truth. The observer in the shadows was identified through an Interpol biometric match. Those footprints belonged to Catherine Watson, a former intelligence officer who had spent 6 months tracking a smuggling route through Orcha. Watson's investigation focused on an international ring using local landmarks, including the Jahangir Mahal, to move stolen historical artifacts. The victim was a local node in this smuggling ring. His murder was the point where international crime collided with a friend's personal delusion. Even with digital and forensic proof, the killer's delusional disorder created a final legal hurdle. His warped reality prevented him from providing a conscious confession. Investigators utilized narcoanalysis to bypass his conscious lies. By accessing his subconscious, they retrieved the facts of the murder that his mind had attempted to rewrite. A staged scene in ancient ruins can be dismantled by the triad of microscopic fibers, digital Venn diagrams, and psychological profiling. These tools reveal the mechanics of the crime, regardless of the theater used to hide it.